We all dream of what it would be like to be a Hollywood star. The fame, the fans, the red carpets, and of course, the almost unimaginable amount of money. For most of us, being rich would mean buying a nice house, a cool car, and maybe taking some fancy vacations. But for some of the biggest stars in history, having a lot of money wasn't nearly enough. They needed to live a life so big, so flashy, and so over the top that it became a legend all on its own. They didn't just buy nice houses, they built private palaces. They didn't just wear nice clothes, they wore entire fortunes. Today, we are opening the gates and pulling back the curtain on 17 Hollywood icons who lived the most shockingly lavish lifestyles you can possibly imagine. Elizabeth Taylor, the Queen of Diamonds. Let's begin with the undisputed queen of Hollywood glamour, Elizabeth Taylor. She wasn't just an actress, she was true royalty, and she lived every single day like it. Elizabeth Taylor didn't just like jewelry, she collected world-famous gems that were so big and important they had their own names and histories. Her great love, Richard Burton, once bought her a 68-carat diamond, which became known as the Taylor-Burton diamond. It was so enormous and valuable that the insurance company would only let her wear it in public for 30 days a year, and she had to hire armed guards to follow her whenever she did. She also owned a giant pearl that once belonged to the Queen of Spain. Her jewelry box was more like a world-class museum. But it wasn't just the gems. She traveled on private jets, owned a huge yacht, and had an army of staff for her homes around the world. Elizabeth Taylor's life wasn't just lived, it was performed with as much fabulous expense as humanly possible. Elvis Presley, the King of Graceland. Elvis Presley was the king of rock and roll, and he lived in a kingdom of his own making, Graceland. While it might not seem as huge as some modern mansions, what made Elvis's lifestyle so lavish was his incredible, impulsive generosity and his desire to have everything he could ever want right now. If he was watching TV and saw a commercial for a car he liked, he would send someone out to buy it immediately. He owned a fleet of Cadillacs, Rolls-Royces, and sports cars, many of which he just gave away to friends, family, and sometimes complete strangers. He once bought a brand new Cadillac for a woman he saw admiring his car through a dealership window. His private jet, the Lisa Marie, had gold-plated seatbelt buckles and a full-sized bed. Inside Graceland, he had the famous Jungle Room, an indoor tiki bar complete with a working waterfall. Elvis earned a fortune, and he made sure to spend it having as much fun as humanly possible, creating his own personal paradise. Jane Mansfield, the Pink Palace. Long before the Kardashians, there was Jane Mansfield, a Hollywood bombshell who understood the power of branding. She wanted to be a living cartoon of glamour, and her home was the centerpiece of her image. It was a 40-room, Mediterranean-style mansion that she bought and famously painted a bright bubblegum pink. But she didn't stop there. She had everything inside dipped in pink, too. She had pink shag carpets installed on the walls and even the ceilings of some rooms. The centerpiece of her backyard was a giant, heart-shaped swimming pool with the words, "I love you, Janie," written in gold leaf mosaic on the bottom. Even the water that came out of her fountains was sometimes dyed pink. Her bathroom was a fantasy of pink fur, with the walls, floor, and even the toilet seat covered in fluffy pink carpet. The Pink Palace wasn't just a home, it was a statement. It was Jane Mansfield's personal, over-the-top fantasy world brought to life. William Hearst Castle Builder. While he was a media mogul and not just a movie star, William Hearst's lifestyle created the blueprint for Hollywood excess. His home, Hearst Castle, is one of the most incredible and lavish private residences ever built. It's not really a house, it's a private village perched on a California hilltop. The main house has 115 rooms, including 38 bedrooms and over 40 bathrooms. But that's not all. There are also 3 massive guest houses on the property. The estate had the world's largest private zoo with bears, lions, and zebras roaming the hills. To build his dream home, Hearst imported entire ceilings from ancient European castles and monasteries. The property features 2 stunning swimming pools. The outdoor Neptune pool holds 345,000 gallons of water and looks like something out of ancient Rome. The indoor Roman pool is decorated from floor to ceiling with breathtaking mosaics made of real gold. Hearst's lifestyle wasn't just lavish, it was on the scale of a king or an emperor. Nicolas Cage, the king of bizarre spending. When it comes to modern Hollywood stars with shockingly lavish lifestyles, Nicolas Cage might be in a category all by himself. For years, he was earning over $40 million a year, and he spent it on some of the strangest and most extravagant things imaginable. He didn't just buy a nice house, he bought 2 different European castles. He also owned a private island in the Bahamas. He bought what was known as the most haunted house in America in New Orleans, just because he thought it would be interesting. But his strangest purchases are the most famous. He once outbid Leonardo DiCaprio for a 67-million-year-old dinosaur skull, paying $276,000 for it, though he later had to return it to the Mongolian government. And planning for the future, he bought a giant 9-foot-tall pyramid-shaped tomb for himself in a New Orleans cemetery. Nicolas Cage didn't just spend his money, he used it to live out his wildest and weirdest fantasies.
Johnny Depp, the island owner. Johnny Depp has always cultivated an image as a cool, bohemian artist, but for decades his lifestyle was as lavish and excessive as any king's. During his high-profile legal battles, the world got a shocking look into his unbelievable spending habits. It was revealed that he was spending an astonishing $2 million a month just to maintain his lifestyle. This included an estimated $30,000 a month on wine that was flown in from all over the world. He spent another $200,000 a month on private jets. He maintained a staff of over 40 people around the world. He owns his own private 45-acre island in the Bahamas, which he named Little Hall's Pond. And in one of the most extravagant gestures ever, when his friend, the famous writer Hunter S. Thompson, passed away, Depp spent a reported $3 million to have his friend's ashes specially loaded into a firework and shot out of a giant cannon, just as the writer had wished. Liberace, Mr. Showmanship. No one in the history of entertainment understood the word lavish quite like Liberace. He was a piano virtuoso, but his music was almost secondary to his incredible over-the-top spectacle. His motto was "Too much of a good thing is wonderful," and he applied that to every aspect of his life. On stage, he wore massive fur capes that weighed over 100 pounds and were covered in millions of dollars worth of jewels and sequins. He had a Rolls-Royce that was completely covered in tiny mirrors, like a disco ball on wheels. His homes in Las Vegas and Palm Springs were shrines to excess. He had a bathtub shaped like a clamshell, pianos covered in rhinestones, and candelabras everywhere. He loved gold so much that he had the sinks and faucets in his bathroom plated in 24-karat gold. Liberace didn't just have a lavish lifestyle, he was a lavish lifestyle. He turned himself into a walking, talking, piano-playing monument to glamour and glitz. Michael Jackson, the King of Neverland. Michael Jackson was the king of pop, and he created a fantasy kingdom for himself called Neverland Ranch. This wasn't just a mansion, it was a 2,700-acre private amusement park and zoo. The main house was a stunning Tudor-style mansion, but the real magic was outside. Neverland had its own full-sized Ferris wheel, a roller coaster, a carousel, and a pirate ship ride. There was a movie theater with its own candy counter and a dance studio. Michael also had a private zoo that housed exotic animals like elephants, giraffes, and his famous chimpanzee, Bubbles. To get around the massive property, he had his own custom-built train with a station designed to look like the one at Disneyland. Neverland Ranch was the ultimate expression of Jackson's desire to create a world of childlike wonder and magic, a place where he never had to grow up, with a price tag that was almost beyond belief. Elton John, the Flower Prince. Sir Elton John is a music legend, known for his incredible songs, but he's almost as famous for his legendary spending habits. For decades, he lived a life of pure, unadulterated excess. He once famously admitted in an interview that during a 20-month period, he spent over $50 million. One of his most shocking expenses was on flowers. He loved having fresh flowers in all of his homes so much that he spent nearly $400,000 on them in just over a year and a half. He is also famous for his collection of sunglasses. At one point, it was estimated he owned over 250,000 pairs. He bought mansions around the world as if they were souvenirs, and he threw some of the most outrageous and elaborate parties in Hollywood history with guest lists that included real-life royalty. Elton John didn't just earn his fortune, he made sure to enjoy every single penny of it in the most colorful way possible. Beyoncé and Jay-Z, the power couple. As the reigning king and queen of the music industry, Beyoncé and Jay-Z live a lifestyle that is truly on another level. They don't just go on vacation. They rent a 300-foot mega yacht for over $1 million a week to sail around the Mediterranean. They own one of the most expensive homes in all of California, a stunning modern mansion in Bel Air that they bought for $88 million. For their daughter Blue Ivy's first birthday, they reportedly spent over $200,000, which included buying her a custom-made diamond-encrusted Barbie doll. They have one of the most impressive private art collections in the world, featuring original works by masters like Jean-Michel Basquiat and Andy Warhol. They travel exclusively by private jet and have a fleet of luxury cars, including a custom-designed Rolls-Royce. Their life isn't just luxurious, it's a global empire built on talent, business, and impeccable, expensive taste. Mary Pickford, the original queen of Hollywood. Long before anyone else, there was Mary Pickford. She was known as America's sweetheart and was one of the very first true movie stars. Along with her dashing husband, fellow superstar Douglas Fairbanks, they created the very first legendary Hollywood estate, a mansion they named Pickfair. It became the center of the Hollywood social scene. Pickfair wasn't just a house, it was the White House of Hollywood. The couple entertained royalty, famous scientists like Albert Einstein, and every important person who passed through Los Angeles. The property had the first ever private swimming pool in Beverly Hills. They had stables for their horses, a movie screening room, and sprawling lawns where they hosted massive parties. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks didn't just live a lavish lifestyle, they invented the very idea of what a glamorous Hollywood lifestyle should be. Tom Cruise, the aviation aficionado. Tom Cruise is one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, and his lifestyle reflects his blockbuster status. While he owns beautiful homes, including a massive 320-acre ranch in Colorado, his real passion is aviation. He is a licensed pilot and doesn't just fly for fun, he owns his own collection of amazing aircraft. This includes a top-of-the-line Gulfstream private jet worth over $20 million, which he uses to travel the world for his movie premieres. But that's not all. Because of his role in Top Gun, he also owns a P-51 Mustang, a vintage World War II fighter plane that is incredibly rare and expensive to maintain. He has been known to take his friends and co-stars for thrilling rides in this classic warbird. For Tom Cruise, the ultimate luxury isn't a fancy car or a big house. It's the freedom to take to the skies in his own private Air Force. 13. Oprah Winfrey, the real estate mogul. Oprah Winfrey is more than a celebrity. She is a global brand and one of the wealthiest women in the world, and her lifestyle is a testament to her incredible success.
While she is famously generous, she also enjoys the fruits of her labor in the most luxurious way. Her main home is a magnificent 42-acre estate in Montecito, California, which she calls the Promised Land. It's worth over $100 million and includes a main mansion, a huge guest house, and beautifully manicured gardens. But that's just one of her homes. She owns a massive ski chalet in Telluride, Colorado, complete with a 56-foot-long wine cellar that is designed to look like a mine shaft. She also owns hundreds of acres of property in Maui, Hawaii. She travels the world on her own custom-designed $75 million private jet. Oprah has built an empire, and she lives in a world of comfort and beauty that she created for herself. 14. Clark Gable, the King of Custom. The original King of Hollywood, Clark Gable, lived a life that was as masculine and grand as his on-screen persona. He loved the finer things in life, but he wanted them to be uniquely his. He had a passion for cars, but he didn't just buy them off the lot. He sent them to famous custom builders to have them turned into one-of-a-kind machines. His most famous car was a 1935 Duesenberg, which was already one of the most expensive cars in the world. He had it specially modified, lowered, and streamlined, turning it into a sleek, powerful beast that was unlike any other car on the road. He also owned a large ranch in the San Fernando Valley, where he could escape the city and live like a gentleman farmer, surrounded by his hunting dogs and horses. For Clark Gable, luxury wasn't just about having expensive things, it was about having things that were made just for him. 15. Kim Kardashian, the modern mogul. Kim Kardashian has redefined what it means to be a celebrity in the modern age, and her lifestyle is a constant, curated display of extreme wealth. Her main home is a massive, minimalist mansion in Hidden Hills, California, that is estimated to be worth over $60 million. The design is so unique that almost every piece of furniture had to be custom-made. Her garage is home to a collection of luxury cars, including a Lamborghini, a Rolls-Royce, and a Maybach, all of which she had painted the exact same shade of ghost gray to match her house, a project that cost over $100,000. She travels exclusively on her own private jet, a G650ER that she has completely customized and nicknamed Kim Air, featuring cream-colored cashmere and leather interiors. From her billion-dollar businesses to her walk-in closets that look like designer boutiques, Kim Kardashian's life is the ultimate 21st-century lavish fantasy. 16. Leonardo DiCaprio, the eco-lavish icon. Leonardo DiCaprio presents a fascinating paradox. He is one of the world's most passionate and influential environmental activists, donating millions to save the planet. At the same time, he lives a life of incredible luxury that only a superstar of his level can afford. For years, he was famous for renting some of the largest and most expensive mega yachts in the world for his summer vacations, often hosting huge parties with his celebrity friends in the south of France. He has an incredible art collection, featuring pieces by Picasso and Andy Warhol. He owns stunning homes in Los Angeles and Palm Springs. In a move that combines his two worlds, he bought his own private island off the coast of Belize for nearly $2 million. His plan is to turn it into the world's most luxurious eco-resort, proving that you can try to save the world while still living in absolute A-list comfort. 17. Charlie Chaplin, the little tramp who lived large. Charlie Chaplin became the most famous man in the world playing the little tramp, a poor, down-on-his-luck character. But in real life, Chaplin's success brought him a fortune that was almost unimaginable at the time. He was one of the first actors to become a multi-millionaire, and he was a co-founder of his own movie studio, United Actors. He lived like the mogul he was. He built a huge mansion in Beverly Hills that had its own pipe organ and a private movie theater. He was one of the first stars to have a private tennis court and swimming pool. He threw legendary parties that were attended by everyone from politicians to scientists. When he was eventually exiled from the United States, he settled in a massive 37-acre estate in Switzerland overlooking Lake Geneva, where he lived out the rest of his days in peaceful, aristocratic splendor. The little tramp may have been poor, but Charlie Chaplin made sure he lived like a king.